Hello everyone and welcome. This is Dr. Heather Carden coming to you live from Ask Dr. Heather. Super excited to be here with you today. Today is our day 2 of our 10 days kind of demything, defunking the keto lifestyle or low carb, high fat lifestyle. So we got a lot of amazing questions from you guys yesterday. I want to thank you. Tomorrow, I'll let you know, we will be talking about constipation and slower bowel movements on the ketogenic diet. Today, we're going to talk about what could be happening, why would I possibly be gaining weight on a keto, low carb, high fat diet, and what is the whoosh? I hear it all the time. What's the whoosh? What's the whoosh? We're going to talk about the whoosh, Brett. So glad you're here with me. So first of all, let's talk about what's happening. When we start to go to a low carb, high fat, ketogenic lifestyle, the first thing we do is we start cutting out sugar. Then we see this a really big decadent list of 50 different styles of cheeses, all these different nuts. But we don't still stop to identify, are we hungry or do we just have an appetite? Or people think they can eat unlimited nuts and seeds and things like that. But I wanted to show you that oftentimes people are gaining weight, number one, because of the whoosh. And we're talking about weight. It's simply just the thing you stand on that moves numbers up and down. And then why you could actually be gaining weight. Number one, you can be overeating fats. Fats are super high in calories. So if I take 1 tablespoon of organic coconut oil, that is exactly 112 calories and 14 grams of fat. 3 heads of cabbage is only 9 carbs. So think about that. 1 little tablespoon is 112 calories. So think about that with peanut butter. 2 tablespoons of nut butter, 160 calories. So it doesn't take very many to add those up. When you're talking about nut servings, I think it's like 6 almonds, it's 4. I've got a whole cupboard of nuts over there. But people will take something like a jar of nuts and they'll just continue to eat them. They have no idea that this jar is probably over 1,000 calories. If we fill this up with nuts and seeds, over 1,000 calories. So number one, they could be overeating fat or fat bombs because they're so delicious. The same things happen with cheese. A serving of a cheese is the size of a domino, but we're thinking, oh my gosh, I can have cheese on this and cheese on that. If you start adding cheese to your eggs, cheese to your burger, cheese to your tuna salad, you guys are adding hundreds of calories. There still is a little bit of calorie in, calorie out game going on. We're switching from an LCHF from the standard American diet. Yes, you're cutting out the processed stuff. I'm dumping water on myself for my next example of the whoosh. Anyway, people will often overeat or they actually have a hidden food allergy, which means maybe they do have a dairy allergy. Think if you're allergic to something in the air, your nose swells up, your eye swells up, well, your gut can swell up as well, and hold on to additional water just to help protect itself. So if you're eating things like eggs, which are the number 1 allergen in the world, or dairy, which is the top 5 allergens in the world, or maybe you start going head over heels with lots of seafood and nuts and shrimp and lobster, things like that, or crab, those also could be potentially hidden food allergies because shellfish are in the top 10 food allergies. So make sure that you haven't done some big switcheroo with your diet. When you want to go from a low carb, high fat ketogenic diet, you want to do a little simple swap. So instead of like 6 corn chips, which would be an appropriate serving, you do 6 pork rinds. Or instead of having like a burrito, you actually use a lettuce leaf, or you use like a low carb burrito shell, something like that. So you just want to make those little simple swaps. You don't want to just overeat. I saw someone overeating chicken salad. They had like an 8-ounce bowl of chicken salad. Now that's almost like half a chicken. We know that 3 to 4 ounces is a serving size. So they were eating enough protein, which will cause an increased rise in insulin, increased glucose, and can potentially keep you out of getting into that state of ketosis if that's what you're looking for. So if you're super frustrated the first couple weeks and you're noticing the scale number going up, which was not your goal with the ketogenic diet or a low carb, high fat diet, then start to journal your journey. Write down what you're eating. Write down if you're hungry or if it just looks good, or you're somewhere and think, gosh, I can have all the ranch dip, I can have all the cheese, all the brie, all the feta cheese, and you start putting all this stuff into your fat coffee. I've seen people come in with making a fat coffee with over 600 to 700 calories. 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of grass-fed butter, tablespoons of whipping cream, and their coffee is amazing, but they're having 1 or 2 of those a day, so they're having, 1,200 calories just in coffee. So journal your journey. It's meant to, again, be a swap, so a garbage for something healthy. So think of it that way. The second thing that happens all the time is that people are going through the whoosh. And what is the whoosh? Who knows what the whoosh is? Put your hand up here because I want to know who knows what that is. And I try to make some simple examples here without crushing my kitchen. So I'm going to lower this down a little bit here. And I don't see anybody saying they know what the whoosh is, which could be good or bad, which means you have no idea what's happening to your body. I know you guys are getting close up there as I'm trying to lower this. Ha-ha! So what happens is we have fat cells. They are nice and round. Fat cells also have water. I could have put a bunch of toxins and debris in here, but what happens is no matter how much I stir this oil, right? Oil still rises to the top. If I were to put a big glob of coconut butter in there, coconut oil, it will rise to the top as well. Why? Because water is more dense. It's heavier, right? It's heavier. So as we start to remove the fat, I'm going to take a tablespoon here. As our body starts to eliminate fat, so I'm pulling the fat out. We lost some fat. I'm going to put another jar here. This fat cell says, whoa, 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 whoa. I've got to maintain my size. I'm used to being a regular size. I'm used to being this size. I've got to add more water. I took 2 tablespoons of fat out, so I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of water back in. I have to maintain the shape at all times because we played this game before. You've lost some fat, you gain it. You lost, you gain it. I'm used to being the same shape, maybe a little bit small, a little bit bigger, but this is what happens. And at some point in time, as you lose fat, you're going to see this one has a little bit less fat. It actually starts to say, you know what? I think I'm getting the hang of this. I think you're finally going to be done getting rid of this fat. So the body starts to lose some fat. And this is when you start to see your inches go down. Because again, no matter how much fat I put in here, if I have starting fat to losing fat, the body's still going to start dumping more water in there to help maintain that size. And remember, water weighs more than fat. So do not be surprised if the scale goes up. Your body's doing what it's supposed to be doing. And this whoosh can happen anywhere from 7 to 21 days. And then finally, we go from having fat to no fat. And it's super, super happy. Like, oh my gosh, there's no fat in this bag. There's no fat in this at all. And then what happens is your body simply dumps, hopefully you guys can see this. Use a bigger bowl here. So you can see there's no fat. It's all been taken out. And this is, again, that round fat cell. Then what happens is the body says, oh, okay, good. I'm actually just going to collapse this fat cell, and I'm done with the fat cell for good, and it's gone. And this is what actually goes in the toilet. So hopefully that makes sense what the whoosh is. Again, the body's trying to maintain a composition. So we go from starting point of fat A to fat B, and then it keeps dumping in more water. And then magically when the body says, okay, I get it now. There's no more fat in there. We're actually gonna be done with this cell. And then it just totally collapses on itself. Now, women, if you gain weight, this is where the cellulite happens. Your body puts another layer of fat on there, and the whoosh keeps stacking up, sometimes known as cellulite. So know that you want to do this slow and steady. There's no reason to rush having all this fat loss. But know and remember that water is always more dense than fat. I have people come in the office and they weigh in the afternoon, and they're always like, I didn't drink anything today because I knew that I was going to weigh in. Well, actually, you should be about the same from morning to night, maybe 1 pound different. Your body will absorb humidity. It's super humid in Kansas right now. But as you drink, your body eliminates, drink and eliminate. So if you don't drink anything, through normal respiration and perspiration, your body's still losing water. So never don't drink anything. And I made another little quick example here to hopefully speed this up. I tried lots of different ways to do this. Ask Nurse Cindy has an amazing balloon video that's actually way better than this, but I wanted to use another form. So I'm going to turn this around here. And hopefully you guys can see this without me lowering it down too much. It's the same thing. Think of fat that's been there for a long time, 5, 10, 15 years, not want to be there. And it's been sitting there for a long time. I hope my thing, and you can see I've got nice yellow fat. Make sure this doesn't pull over, guys. Sorry, thanks for being patient. Kathy, we should do a video of this. So what happens is your body has all this fat. See the fat in the water's still at the bottom. And as your body starts to lose fat, it still keeps adding in more water. So what I did is I just started taking a tablespoon of fat out, putting a tablespoon of water in, tablespoon of fat out, tablespoon of water in, tablespoon of fat out, tablespoon of water in, to really mimic every day that you're actually burning fat. And then voila, guess what happens? At some point, this is it. We are now pure water. We started at this, pure fat back here, and now that fat cell's at pure water. And what happens, without me making a big mess, is that it just whoosh, it dumps out, and then everything's clear, and then those fat cells smash. So Let me know if you guys have questions on there, because it seems to be a hot topic of what is the whoosh. I know there's lots of different diagrams, but you guys, it's that simple. So when you're trying to actually maximize your body composition, lose unwanted fat, be super patient with your body, because the third thing I'm going to talk about is stress and cortisol. So maybe you are eating perfectly to your macros, maybe you're even drinking exogenous ketones, you're doing your fat coffee, you're keeping around 1,200 calories or 13 or 800 calories, whatever it is you decided you needed. You're exercising perfectly in the middle of the morning, but you're keeping stress up, you're on the computer late, you're watching Netflix too late, you have stress that's stopping you from sleeping. Studies showed, and I shared this last night, I need to quote the study, that if they took college students with normal blood chemistry, so no diabetic markers, normal blood sugar, normal amylase and lipase, 3 days they actually had their sleep interrupted and maybe a deficit sleep. So I woke them up. They had to do the college life of just sleeping 3 to 4 hours. Within only just 3 days, so 72 hours, the body was already starting to start markers of diabetes. It's that important. So again, when you're talking about losing fat and you're talking about the body swelling up and trying to get a body composition, don't forget about stress and that magic weapon, which is sleep. Sometimes even just adding 30 to 40 more minutes of sleep can actually crazily increase your body's ability to actually metabolize and lose fat while you're sleeping. Because once you get into that stage 4 sleep, the body can rest, let go, and then that whoosh happens and that fat cell smashes. So anyway, hope that brought some value to your day, guys. So write down your journal, make sure you're not overeating too much of the good stuff, or maybe you don't have a hidden food allergy, and because it was on a ketogenic list, you said, oh my gosh, I can have all the cheese in the world, all the nuts, all the seeds. I love these amazing fat bombs, and I give it everything I want in this amazing coffee. Not true. You still have to watch what you're putting in your body and make sure it's not a hidden food allergy and that you're not over consuming. The great thing about a ketogenic diet or low carb, high fat diet is that you actually get to burn fat 24/7. When you're eating carbohydrates, you only get energy for 30 minutes. If you're truly burning fat for fuel, your body really just gets a smidgen of hunger to tell you, hey, I need a little more fuel, and then it starts to load back down. But if your body's 40, 50% body fat, you may never be hungry. I hear this all the time. I'm just not hungry. You still need to get your greens in. You still need to get your protein in and make sure that you're not overeating too many processed fats. The second thing is be super patient for the whoosh to happen. So maybe only weigh once a week, but get those measurements. I'll put the poster down below. Measure your neck, measure your arms, measure your tummy in 2 or 3 spots, measure your thighs in 2 or 3 spots, your bottom in a couple spots where your top of your panty line, bottom of your panty line. So you'll get a lot of differences of how your body's shrinking in. You know, I hear all the time people forget to measure their fingers and like, oh my gosh, I can put my wedding ring on now. Or, oh my gosh, men will say, I actually went to a smaller size collar. So all those measurements count. So the scale may not change. Remember, fat is less dense than water. Water weighs more. So as you're getting more water in your body, you're washing out all those toxins. Be very patient with your body. So I want to thank you guys for joining me today. This is day 2 of our 10-day keto life hacks that people are asking questions about. So if you have questions, let me know. We are talking about constipation tomorrow because somebody asked me to talk about that and somebody asked me to talk about PCOS. So those are the next 2 days. I want to keep these short and sweet. I do want you to share, so hit that share button, tag somebody in it. If you guys want to know more how to download my free guide to kickstart your day in the right way on a ketogenic lifestyle, just click on the Ask Dr. Heather up above and there'll be just a subscribe button. It is totally free. It's an 11-page color guide. It has some amazing breakfast menus in there that are all low carb, high fat, paleo, keto, all should be dairy free, gluten free, but not nut free. So you can always exchange some seeds for nuts. But I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Hopefully this helped bring a little bit of clarity about what's happening in that bathroom scale, because I hear that frustration all the time. It's more than the scale. Focus on how you sleep. Focus on how you feel. Focus that you're not hungry all the time, because that's super important as well, because that'll elevate your moods. And know that as you cut out that processed sugar, more than about the scale, you're actually now feeding your brain healthy fats, and you need a variety of fats. So I had some nuts, I had some olive oil, I had some coconut oil. Make sure you're rotating those healthy fats around through your diet. Eat when hungry. Eat fat first and be super patient with your body. Maybe it's been here for a few decades or so at this weight, or maybe you've yo-yoed up and down. If you've been the person yo-yoing up and down 20 pounds, the whoosh will take you longer because the body's trying to protect itself. It's in a protective mechanism. I have to protect the stored fuel because I have been starved before. I have been made to work out 5 hours a day before and then starved again and then overworked out again. So as we start to talk about that, if that's the situation where you've done that, the hamster on the wheel, trainer 4 or 5 hours a day, starving yourself with under 800 calories, the body's in a crisis survival mode, and it actually has dropped your metabolic weight. So when we talk about fasting, you'll want to stay tuned for fasting, which will probably be day 10 because that's a hot topic. I already have 4 or 5 videos on that. You can scroll down and you can look at where the fasting videos are. But yes, Chantel, we do have a video on fibromyalgia. I will try to tag you in it. It was done about 3 weeks ago. It was the top 4 or 5 tips to help someone with chronic pain or fibromyalgia. But we'll definitely talk about inflammation and ketones. So again, you guys have a great day. Please share this. Please tag somebody down below who may be waiting for the whoosh to happen. Teresa, the whoosh can be 3 pounds, it can be 8 pounds, it can be 18 pounds. I never know what somebody's body's gonna do. It all depends on how often you've yo-yoed, what your collagen content is, how many fat cells you were born with, because some people are born with more fat than others. If you are overweight as a child and you have more carbohydrate fat, if you have estrogenic fat, that's all a different type of fat. Our body has 4 different types of fat. So it's different for everybody. Just let your body do what it's gonna do. Inch by inch is a inch. Wait, I'm hearing background. Inch by inch is a cinch. Yard by yard is hard. What that means is make small changes every day that build up to amazing ending to have the health that you want along this journey. So again, Dr. Heather saying bye-bye from my kitchen. I'll be checking with you tomorrow from my office. Have a great day.